So last session we discussed about working with string functions, string handling, and string formatting in JavaScript. Next, after understanding the string type, so in the data type, we need to know about two more types. That is, in the primitive types, we need to understand about another is null and undefined. So we learned about number type, a string type, and a Boolean type. Another we have undefined and a null type. Usually, what is null and what is undefined, we need to understand. They are general simple options actually. So undefined. Yeah. Let's add a simple script. Text JavaScript and a function and F1. And here we defined, so where some name is equal to some name and where price is equal to. If we defined any value, then it will take that value. If you don't define any value and we are printing it document.write, we are printing, so name is equal to $name, and in the next line price is equal to $price. Now when I run this, usually this price is not defined with any value. Price is there, but it is not defined with value. Then automatically the compiler will apply undefined as type. It is not an error. It will simply put a undefined type. Undefined type means data is not defined. Then usually price should print undefined. You can see it will print undefined. You can see, so it prints undefined. We will call the function F1. And you can see it says undefined. Price is undefined. So technically, so undefined. So it is a type. Defined for, it is a type defined for variables where value is not defined. It is a type defined for variables where value is not defined. That means compiler uses undefined as type for variables that are not defined with value. That is the point actually. Compiler uses undefined as type for variable that are not defined with any value. Important is you can check whether value is defined or not by using undefined keyword. Actually, you can do that by using undefined keyword. That means what actually we can do is, here we can write a condition: if price is equal to undefined. Undefined is a keyword. If price is undefined, so document dot write, we need to print only name. Name is equal to $name. Else we need to print both name and price. That means if price is not supplied with any value, don't try to print the price. Here currently we are trying to print it. But if I write a condition like this, here undefined is a type you can verify by using undefined keyword. So it will keep as undefined. So we can access and we can use undefined type. Voice breaking may be from your side problem. Here everything is very much clear. I hope it is clear for everyone. Voice is clear to everyone, na? Audible, na? Yep. Mr. Vivek, check your side. You might have problem. From my side, voice is not having any problem. It's very clear. Fine. Okay, let's run this and see. When we run this, you can see it is printing only name. It is not printing the price. It is printing only the name. It's not printing the price, right? Technically, so we are using undefined as an type to verify whether the value defined or not. Whether the value defined or not. The value defined or not. So that is what actually undefined type is. Undefined type is. Yeah. So we have to verify and we have to check by using the keyword undefined. Right. Let's run this and see. So this is an example. You can try this example. So what you understood by undefined, if a variable is declared and value is not supplied into it, then compiler will automatically assign undefined as its type. So if any variable is returning undefined, that means a value is not defined into it. You can verify that by using undefined keyword. Undefined keyword. That is general. Here simple logic I am writing. If price not defined, print only name. If price is defined, then print the name and price. You see now in the code, I will enter price now. I will enter price. When I enter price, you can see that it will display name and price. If I don't enter any price, then obviously it will display only name. It will not print it. That we are verifying by using undefined. That is another important data type, that is undefined type. So compiler will define the data type as undefined if there is no value supplied. Very important is we have null type. Actually, null is a type defined for variable, when value is not defined, during runtime, not defined during runtime. That means variable is not supplied with a value during runtime. Variable is not supplied with a value during runtime, and you are trying to use the variable. Then it returns null. So at compile time, if value is not present, then it will automatically put undefined. At runtime, value is not present, then it will put null. Actually, null is an exception type used to tell that there is no value. Actually, null is an exception type used to tell that there is no value. And whenever we talk about exception types will be at runtime only. That means, for example, already I showed you this example when we learned about prompt. One more time I will show you here. See, I am using var name is equal to prompt. I am using prompt. I will say enter name. That means name is not supplied with value. Name is expecting a value to be supplied through this prompt, and prompt will occur in runtime. When at the runtime, prompt will come and prompt will ask a value. Now at runtime, if you are not supplying value into this name and you are trying to use it, then what happens? Let's see. I will use document.write. So here I will use name. That means name is equal to dollar. Better I will use here. Yeah. Simply dollar name. So name is equal to name or simply hello and that name. But observe carefully here. When I run this, a prompt will come. In the prompt, not supplying a value and click OK. And it is not null, because OK means applying an empty value. Empty value is taken as blank. Blank is also a value. Then automatically it will print empty. But when I click cancel, then what will happen? When I click cancel, that means we are canceling this prompt. When you are canceling the prompt, that means value is not supplied into name and you are printing the name. So at runtime, the prompt is cancelled. Then see, automatically it will store null. It will store undefined during compile time. If value is not there, it will say undefined. But at runtime, it will not use undefined. Undefined is only compile time. At runtime, it will use null. It is returning null means value is not defined. Even blank also not defined. Generally, you can verify the null type by using the keyword null. By using the keyword null, you can verify that. For example, here I am writing a condition. If name is equal to null, then I will print document.write you cancelled. This message will come. Else if name is equal to empty, double quotes is empty. That means document.write. So name cannot be empty. That message I am giving. Else it should print all these details. That means if name is provided, then it will print the name. When you click OK without entering the name, then it will take empty. When you cancelled, then it will put null. That means I will refresh this now. Without entering name, I clicked OK. Then it will print name cannot be empty. I clicked cancel. Then it says cancelled. I entered some name and OK. Then it will display that name. So what is null? Null is a type defined for variables when value is not supplied into them at the runtime. Compile time, if value is not supplied, compiler will keep it as undefined. But runtime, value is not supplied, then an exception type is applied. And that exception type is null. And that null will tell that there is no value. Even blank also. So technically, null is an exception type. That's the reason many times as developers, we say that null reference error. Null reference error means the value is not coming. Usually that comes during the runtime, not at the compile time. So best example, we can use this prompt. Technically, we can use this prompt. So I will copy this example. This is an example for null. So what is undefined and what is null? Undefined is actually indicates that value is not defined during compile time. Null is used to define that value is not specified at runtime. So that is null and undefined. And these two are verified by using the keywords null and by using the keyword undefined. So these are all under the category of primitive types. So primitive types, we have number, we have string, we have boolean, undefined, and null types. Those are all the primitive types. Next, important in JavaScript, we need to understand non-primitive types. We need to understand non-primitive types. Generally, what are non-primitive types and how these non-primitive types work? Actually, so non-primitive types, primitive types are non-primitive types use memory heap. Actually, memory heap is cache memory of browser, is the cache memory of browser. That means it is the temporary memory of a browser. That means the non-primitive types use memory heap. They are stored in memory heap. So they don't have any fixed range for values. The value range will change according to the available memory. According to the available memory. Actually, primitive types have a fixed range for values. Non-primitive types don't have any fixed range for values. So they will change according to the available memory. That means they use the browser cache memory, which is generally called as buffer. And they don't have any fixed size. The size will vary according to browser. Actually, the non-primitive types, JavaScript non-primitive types, are JavaScript non-primitive types. We have number one, array type. Number two, object type. And number three, regular expression type. The important non-primitive types of JavaScript are array, object, and regular expression. So JavaScript non-primitive types are array, object, and regular expression. These are called as non-primitive types. So what is array and what are the non-primitive types? We will see one by one how to define them and how to use them. Let's see. So technically, these all are not having any fixed range for value. These will vary according to the browser. Every browser don't have the same memory. Some browsers have more memory than others. So due to that, the performance of the pages and the applications also will change according to browser also. So what are these all non-primitive types and how to use the non-primitive types? Let's see. First important, we have to understand about array type. Actually, if anyone asks what is the purpose of array, so generally if anyone asks what is the purpose of array, then in general several people will give the answer like arrays are used to store similar type values. So arrays are used to store many values under one name. That's what generally anyone gives us the answer when we ask about array. But actually, what you have to know here is technically what you think about array is little bit wrong. Why? Because generally people say that array is homogeneous collection, same type values. Because people learn Java, .NET, C++ like languages, and they come to JavaScript or other location, and they say that because they learned that array is similar type values. But actually, array is not similar type value. You can see, for example, so suppose here I am writing var values is equal to, this is string, this is number, and this is boolean. It is an array, and document dot write, I am printing values dot to string and converting, and you can see here it is able to use them. So whoever says array is same type of values, we can prove them every time wrong, because you see here not same type values. Array A is string type, 10 is number type, true is boolean type. They are not same type values. So what you think about array is wrong actually. It is not same type values. Actually, your technologies have some problem like Java, like .NET, like PHP. What is the problem is your technologies cannot allocate different types of memories in an. That is the reason they restrict array to store same type values. That means that is the problem of your technology, that it cannot handle different type of values in array. But it is not universally for array in every technology. Some technologies, their arrays can allow different type of values. This is the proof and example directly you are watching. That means now, then what is purpose of array? I thought that array was to store similar type values, but here you are showing that it is storing different type values. Then why? What is the purpose of array actually? Actually, technically, arrays in computer programming are used to reduce reduce overhead overhead and complexity. Arrays in computer programming are used to reduce overhead and complexity. That is the main purpose of array. In computer programming, arrays are used for reducing overhead and reducing complexity. What is overhead? I will show you. What is overhead? We will see that. What is overhead? We will see that. Actually, overhead is a problem that comes related to memory management. Overhead is a problem that comes related to memory management. For example, I will show you a small point here. Actually, earlier when we used electronic devices. In early days, the data in electronic devices is actually stored in magnet tapes. The data is actually stored in magnet tapes. The data is actually stored in magnet tapes. Usually, the data is stored in magnet tape. In early days, data is in magnet tape. Actually, you might have seen magnetic tape, magnetic tape, magnetic tape. You might have seen audio video cassettes. I hope you have seen audio video cassettes, VCR and audio cassettes. You see a magnet tape is present actually. You see they contain a magnet tape, a magnet tape. They contain a magnet tape. They contain a magnet tape. A head is present. A head is present. Actually, this head is for reading and writing the data. Reading and writing the data. And you know this tape will rotate this direction or this direction, reverse, forward. I think you have used audio cassettes, tape recorders, and VCR. You have seen them. Do you know after finish playing one side, we have to rotate another side and keep it? Or what we have to do is we have to reverse and again play a song. That means the data is stored in order in a tape. In a tape, the data is stored in a sequential order. In a sequential order. And it reads in that sequential order. So no problem in that. Then problem started when we started using disk. When we started using disk, electronic devices were introduced with disk, floppy disk, compact disk, hard disk. Do you know generally, suppose this is the disk, hard disk. Suppose how data is stored in the disks. How data is stored in the disk. The data in the disk is stored in tracks and sectors. I think many of you know. Data is stored in tracks and sectors. What many people don't know is in these tracks and sectors, how data is stored. That means in the tracks and sectors, how data is stored. In the tracks and sectors, actually data is stored in this direction. In this direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is the direction. That means data is stored in this direction. You can observe that. For example, you can observe that. So suppose if we can see the floppy or hard disk, suppose you see, I will show you an hard disk. I will show you an hard disk. So that means hard disk. I will show you hard disk diagram. This is hard disk. This is hard disk. You see, this is an hard disk. This is an hard disk. This is an hard disk. Observe carefully. This is inside diagram of hard disk. Actually, inside this, you can observe carefully. The disk will rotate in this direction. The disk will rotate in this direction, round. And you can see there is a head. Actually, this is head. That is actually read-write head. Read-write head. And observe, this head is fixed here. That is fixed here. And do you know this head moves in this direction? That means it will move like a viper. Left, right, left, right. It will move like a viper. So that means disk is rotating round, but data is stored. Data is stored in this way: 1, 2, 3. After that, the disk will rotate. Then 4, 5, 6. After that, it will rotate like this. That is how actually data is stored in a disk. Now, do you know what is problem in this? Actually, the problem is in this is the main problem in this type of storage is, so here we have tracks and sectors. Data is in the tracks and sectors. Data will be in tracks and sectors. Will be in tracks and sectors. It will be in tracks and sectors. Now what happens here is the first value is stored here. The first value is stored here. Second value stored here. Then stop. Third value later it came here. 3, 4, 5. Later 6, 7, 8, like this. Now very important is this area. You can see that this area is left empty. That means it is unable to, means it ignored that area to store data and skip it to next one. Now very important is next time it comes, it will see that it is full. It will go to next. It is full. It will go to next. It is full. It will go to next. That means it will move to next here. And important is it will come here. It will see here it is full. Then it will go to next. Then due to this, what happens? Here there is place, there is memory, but that memory is unable to utilize. There is space, but you cannot use it. This problem is called as overhead. Overhead. This problem started when we started using floppy, CD, and hard disks. This is one important problem related to memory. To overcome this problem, into computer, a concept was introduced called array. Arrays were not there in early days of programming. To computer programming disk, and we faced the problem of overhead. Now, what is the purpose of array is, array stores in sequential order. When array store values in sequential order, if it can store value in sequential order, then it can reduce overhead. It can reduce the problem of overhead. So the main purpose of array was to reduce overhead. Even today for reducing overhead. Generally, if you are using computers from several years, if you know Windows XP, Windows 98 like versions, in the early days of Windows, actually we have to use a concept called disk defragmentation. I think you might have heard about that. Even today we have disk defragmentation. In our Windows operating system, we have disk defragmentation. We have disk defragmentation. You see, defragment and optimize drive. There is an option called disk defragmentation. Do you know the purpose of this defragmentation? It, when you fragment, defragmentation means it will move all used sectors to one side, used sectors another side. It will move all used sectors one side, unused sectors another side. Due to that, when it moves used and unused sectors another side, due to that, again memory will be available. And early days, we have to do it manually, but now it is doing it internally. It runs defragmentation every few days. It will run defragmentation and it will optimize our disks actually. That's the reason you see at the bottom it says that drives are being optimized automatically. Frequency is weekly. We change the settings every days. The purpose improve the performance of your memory because it can push user sectors one side, make the space available again. So arrays introduced into computer programming to reduce overhead and to reduce complexity. Complexity is nothing but in one reference you can store several values. And overhead means the memory is well managed by storing values in a sequential order. That is the main purpose of array. Main purpose of array. So is in computer programming to reduce overhead and complexity. Arrays reduce overhead by storing values in sequential order. Arrays reduce complexity by storing multiple values under one name under one name. Another important point is arrays can store various types of values. Some technologies have problem in allocating different types of memories in sequential order. Hence they restricted array to store same type of values. JavaScript array can handle any type of value. So JavaScript array is not similar type of values. That is important. That means technically when you talk about arrays, then you should say that in my Java, array can store same type values. In my .NET, array can store same type values. You should not say that array will store same type values because that point is not applicable to every technology, every language. Your technology have a problem with array. It cannot allocate different types of sequential order. You are thinking it as a definition for array. You will immediately say array means same type values. Array means homogeneous collection. That means your knowledge of array, you are applying to entire computer technology. It's not correct, wrong. Everybody can prove you wrong every time when you tell same type values. Because here is the proof. Already we saw that it can store different types of values. So then arrays in your technology have a different behavior. But the purpose is same. They allocate memory in sequential order to reduce overhead. It is not same type values. JavaScript array can handle various types of values. Not only that, another point is JavaScript array array size can be changed, can be changed dynamically. Many people will tell this point also. They will say that array size cannot be changed dynamically. Array size cannot be changed dynamically in your technology because your technology have a problem. That is the reason, do you know, their technologies have a problem of changing the array size dynamically. That's the reason they introduce a concept called collections. By using collections, they handle these problems. But JavaScript doesn't need any collections because JavaScript array can handle all behaviors. It can be used for same type values. It can be used for different types of values. Array size can be changed dynamically also. You can see, for example, suppose, so that means, so if I say array size, array is not similar type of values, right? And array size can be changed dynamically. See here, I am writing values is equal to new array. What is difference between square brace and new array? Later we will discuss. Here, I am defining array size as 2 and I am storing values of 0 is equal to 10. Values of 1 is equal to 20. Values of 2 is equal to 30. Values of 3 is equal to 40. I allocated only 2 size, but I am storing 3 values, 4 values. And you can see when I refresh, it is working fine. It is working fine, no problem. But this is not supported in many technologies. Immediately, if you are trying to store more values than allocated, then immediately those technologies will alert saying that index out of range. That means you said 3, you are trying to store 4. I can't handle. But JavaScript arrays don't have that problem. They can dynamically change the size. When a new value comes, they will push in. That means array size can be changed dynamically. JavaScript array size can be changed dynamically. So what you know till now about arrays is only related to your technology. It is not about globally arrays. So that is the reason you should know that array have lot of behavior than what actually you think about it. Your technology have some issues in allocating memory, in changing the size dynamically. That's the reason your technology is using array in a restricted way. But JavaScript can use exactly how it works. It can use for different values. It can change the. That's the reason in JavaScript, array in JavaScript will have the behavior of, it will have the behavior of a stack, will have the behavior of a queue, will have the behavior of a hash table. That means a dictionary collection, etc. That means one array have the behavior of stacks, queues, hash tables, and everything. Generally, in all this, so array cannot manage them. That's the reason in their technologies they use collections concept where they use stacks, queues, and others. But array JavaScript doesn't require. JavaScript array can have the behavior of a stack, can have the behavior of a queue, can have a behavior of a dictionary type collection also. That is the specialty of JavaScript array. So actually, that is actually the specialty of array. JavaScript have no restrictions on it. but other technologies have restrictions on it. So from hereafter, when you talk about arrays, you should not say arrays are used for storing same type values. That is a wrong definition actually. Arrays are used for reducing overhead and reducing complexity. Arrays will reduce overhead by storing values in sequential order. You better say arrays are used to store values in sequential order. You better say arrays are used for storing multiple values. But actually, main purpose is two things: overhead and complexity. Overhead is reduced by sequential order. Complexity is reduced by storing multiple values under one name. That is what actually the concept of array. Now, generally, why it is called as an array? So why it is called as an array? Array allows to access from any location, That is, the elements are accessible in random. The elements are accessible in random. That means there is no order of accessing. That means, for example, if it is a queue, then what happens? You have to access queue work with a mechanism called first in, first out. That means you cannot access anything in between. The first option goes in, the first option comes out, right? That means the option goes in, that is the option that comes out first. Stack one first out. Last in, first out means the last item goes in, the first item comes. But array will allow random access. That means from any position you can access it. I want fourth one, I can access fourth. I want second one, I can access second. So that means why it is called array. Actually, meaning of array is it is a collection that allows random access. Means it is a sequential order. That means elements arranged in sequential order and allowed to access in random order. That is the meaning of array. Elements arranged in sequential order and accessible in random order. That is what actually the meaning of array. So arrays actually allow random access. They allow the random access. That is the key concept about the arrays. Now, once you know these points about arrays, then we have to know how to declare arrays, how to store values into arrays, how do we access the values from the arrays, and how the arrays will work step by step. So with arrays, we will see a lot of examples now. Practically, we will design some real-time examples by using the concept of array, right? That we will see in tomorrow's session. So tomorrow we will start some exercises with the concept of arrays and we will see how to handle them. So very important things you will learn in the concept of array, right? Tomorrow we can continue with this, okay? Thank you. You done yesterday's exercise, huh? I given one exercise to many yesterday to try. Have you done that? Huh? No, Mr. Who this? Barik, Padmalochan Barik. No, it is not the right way. You should not do it like that. It's not the right way. You should not do like that. You should not use hard-coded index numbers and all for that. Try other technique. That's not the right way. Because whatever string I give, it should take it. It should not be just like a welcome to JavaScript. For every string, it should print in title case. That's what you have to try. Okay. Right. Okay. You try that if you are facing any difficulty in handling that. So I will let you know. Okay. Okay, fine.